What's good, everybody? Welcome to the 808s and Hot Takes podcast. I am your host, Joshua Grace, also known as Storm, and my co-host please introduce yourself, sir.
Hello, my name is Corey Kutry. We're here at the 808s and Hot Takes, and we're going to have some very hot takes and some different things that y'all ain't used to hearing on everyday podcasts that you might enjoy.
Facts.
The point of this thing is to express our opinions and views on things without having a filter, without having, an influence on our opinions.
Exactly. So I'm going to come out right here and say it, and I'm going to offend a whole lot of people. To Pimp a Butterfly is not Kendrick's best album. It's Good Kid, Mad City. And I know we just lost like 70% of our fan base saying that. Whole bunch of people going to hate me for saying that.
Everyone from the age 22 to 29.
Exactly. They're going to be like, no, this is invalid. I bet y'all listen to Lil Pump. I bet Lil Pump is your favorite rapper, isn't he? Right?
No, we
y'all
don't
listen to Young
to
Gravy.
Lil Pump.
Yeah, nah, we don't. All right. All right, well, we're going to get this thing started, man. I'm actually really, really excited about doing this. Shout out to Christian Eli, my boy. Got the inspiration from him to kind of start one. I saw what he was doing. I've been wanting to do one for a while, but we're finally here. So I guess we'll just kind of start out with an introduction. You want to go first? And then just like introduce, what you're about, what your favorite artists are, favorite albums, stuff like that.
I come from Buffalo, New York. I'm a huge Bills fan. I've been listening to music for a very long time. I've listened to a lot of different artists, a lot of different types of music, completely different genres. I can't even say that I just listen to rap because that would be false. But that's what we're going to focus on and talk about in these videos, these podcasts. And we're just going to let you know what we think of these people that you listen to. I personally enjoy Lil Uzi Vert, Joyner Lucas. I do like Kendrick. I don't really like J. Cole. I like Denzel Curry. I like Montana 300 and his whole crew, FGE. If you don't know about them, you definitely need to go look them up. If you like
Peep
bars.
the Christmas song, man. Peep the Christmas song. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. That song's
What's the name of that Christmas track, man?
It's just a FGE Christmas song, I'm pretty sure.
Damn, yeah, for real. Y'all need to go listen to this. I was not I wasn't into FGE at all, and he sent me that shit, and I was like, all right, bet. This shit is crazy, man. If you want like Christmas related punchlines about murdering and killing people and stealing stuff, that's your go-to. Go listen to that. You'll love it, I promise. But continue. I had to throw that out there.
The group used to consist of No Fatigue, Jalen Sanders, Savage, Montana 300, Talia 300, and J Real. But Savage left, and J Real's in prison, I'm pretty sure. And now they have One Take Timmy along with the other names. And One Take Timmy's just crazy.
Damn, I feel this. Word. All right, so I guess it's my turn, and then we'll get into more depth about favorite artists and things as such. That'll pretty much be the focus of today's intro episode. So once again, my name is Joshua Grace, originally born in Detroit, Michigan. Also partially grew up in Atlanta. I now reside in Myrtle Beach. I'm an artist first before a listener. You can check out my music at Storm, STXRM. All this stuff will be linked in the description. My music taste it mainly consists of like more so, I hate the word lyrical rap because this shit is so overused and overplayed. Not even conscious hip hop, but things like if you like people like Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole, even though I don't listen to J. Cole, but basically like upgraded versions of people like that who like really, really raw, cut out, like Lupe Fiasco, again, Joyner Lucas, Royce da 5'9", Nas, stuff like that. And then also other influences to the complete opposite side of the spectrum, like XXXTentacion, Trippie Redd, Jaden Smith, stuff like that. So I listen to a lot of different styles. Like I said, this won't only be a hip-hop podcast. We're talking all different types of genres of music. Like my favorite band is Coldplay. Favorite vocalist of all time is Lana Del Rey. So like I said, we'll be talking about a lot of different stuff. All right. So, favorite artist of all time. I'm going to put this disclaimer out there. My favorite artist of all time is Streetlight, and I cannot talk about literally any other artist being favorite of anything without putting like that disclaimer in there, like okay, only after Streetlight. So I'm gonna try to talk about him like as little as possible in this podcast. But favorite artist of all time after that is Lupe Fiasco. His album The Cool is absolutely amazing, and favorite song from him is Mural. Like 8 straight minutes of just fucking ridiculous bars, man. Straight bars. So, who is your favorite artist of all time and favorite song from them?
My favorite non-rap artist of all time, I'll go ahead and get this out the way, is it's Corey Taylor. You know, from Slipknot, everything he does, I'm a fan of. The range on his voice is just immaculate. It's crazy how he can switch from singing and then into the screaming that he does just so beautifully. It's crazy. It's what I aspire to be able to do with my voice, you know, just that range. And then my favorite rap artist of all time is a very difficult question because my entire childhood I grew up just fantasizing and obsessing over Eminem. Everything he did, I studied and all of that for a long period of my life. But then after I grew out of that, I kind of branched out into everything, and I like a lot of everything. So, but I would say, man, I don't even know.
All right, so we are back. I believe that whenever you talk to anybody who's like really, really into the hip hop community, that if you bring up My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, that it's always held at a high regard, is definitely regarded as one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time, if not the greatest album of all time, as far as the hip hop community serves. And even some people regard it as one of the greatest albums of all time, just out of any genre, you know, stacking it up against other classic rock albums, jazz albums, neo soul, R&B, whatever, because it fuses just so many different genres, man. Uh, Bro, what's your favorite album off that track? Like, I know so many of them are like so fire, so different, but like, if you had to just choose one, what would you put as your like your top track from it?
I can listen to any song in this album at any point in the day and be completely satisfied and enjoy it to the fullest. But if you were to ask me like what song I would show somebody to represent the album, I would have to say All of the Lights because the song is just, it's so beautiful and melodic, and it's just, you know, Rihanna, she's just beautiful on the hook. It's crazy.
Right. And also, I feel like there's like a really dope, deep underlying message in the lyrics that like a fly over a lot of people's head. Like they get it, but at the same time, they don't get it in the grand scheme of the album. And that actually goes for a lot of songs here, even ones that don't seem like they have very much context to offer into the concept, like Monster or So Appalled. You know, all of these songs, themes, they really go with it. And just hearing him talk about like the different life events that he's portraying through this story, and then at the very end of it saying like I can't let her grow up in that ghetto university. uh One thing that I think is a really dope Easter egg that some people didn't catch is, so if you go back to Graduation Days, right, in the well, I mean, even his first 3 albums are all collegiate based. So you have College Dropout, it says in the title, then Late Registration, which is, same thing, going back to get your degree or whatever, but you're still lacking in certain areas, and then of course Graduation. If you look at first of all, obviously the cover art, I forgot the name of the artist, but the Japanese artist is very, very dope. But you see the Kanye Bear in his like dope collegiate jacket, and he has on the Air Mags, and the shit is fire. But if you go back and you watch the music video for Good Morning, and it shows the Kanye Bear getting up, getting dressed, being late for graduation, running on stage, eventually making it, all this other stuff, hopping in a DeLorean, like it says in the lines. If you look at the name of the college, it says Universe City, which is obviously a play on words, universe, city, university. So when he said can't let her grow up in that university, or it's saying, yo, I'm gonna have to take him back to that university, he's just talking about his old ways and the way that he used to do things to get him to this point now. And that's something I feel like a lot of people really miss. Like whenever I talk to Kanye fans all the time, they see like the music videos that really involve him, but the ones that came out during the Graduation era, a lot of people don't really remember much about it. They just remember seeing the Kanye Bear running around, whatever, because it's iconic, of course. But that's just like one really dope Easter egg that I remember seeing that like a lot of not a lot of people know about. All right, so if I was to choose one song from this album, my personal favorite is definitely got to be "So Appalled," man. Like, people already view Kanye as an asshole, basically, and in a way he pretty much is, or at least used to be before. This he's found his new faith recently. I'm very happy for him for that. But definitely during this point in 2010, after the VMAs and cutting out Taylor Swift, and basically the entire world hated him for the most part. And one thing that I really think is genius just about this album in general, not even just So Appalled, and I'll get to that in a second, but it's really embracing, that persona and that image of you that you realize that everybody thinks you're an asshole and you're going to embrace it. I mean, even in the song Runaway, it says toast to douchebags, toast to the assholes, right? But in this song specifically, So Appalled, he, creates a gangster little posse cut with him, Jay-Z, Pusha T, RZA, and also let me think. Swizz Beats is on the hook, and who am I forgetting? And Sci-Hi, right? And Sci-Hi wasn't even supposed to be on the song, but that's another story for another time. So basically, the song is talking about not them being so appalled, but the people around them when they look at their personas and their lifestyles, is they're just fucking appalled at like, how dare you be like this, rude, this much of an asshole? How could you possibly say the things that you say? Like, even just, I feel like although Jay's verse is the best, and every verse really has a theme, Kanye's verse best represents the song because it is his song and his album. But he basically talking about, I have the money, I have the fame, whatever, but especially when you start talking about personification of other human beings, talking about girls. So he said, baby, you're fired, and you're fired and your homegirl hired, but if you don't mind, I'm gonna keep you on call. Basically, I know I can get to you whenever I want you. So even though I'm not gonna mess with you right now, I'm gonna keep you on call, because as soon as I call, I know you're gonna come right back to me. Like, he knows that he has power over these women and over these other things surrounding him, right? And then you just get to all these other verses with Jay, being controlled with money, like the line about Hammer losing 30 million, but Jay spent another 30, because unlike Hammer, 30 million can't hurt me. And then Pusha T going at like everybody's verse is just that braggadocious, persona. And I think that's really, really dope for them to all also understand that's how they're viewed so often in their music, and also kind of like coming up in arms with Kanye, kind of like their fallen brother, to be like, okay, we understand, why, the world sees you this way, but at the same time, they also view us in this exact same light, because that's kind of like the lifestyle of a rapper, in a sense.
Kanye's goal with this album from the start was to make a masterpiece, and many will say that's what he did. He wanted to deliver a backhanded apology, basically, with the classic album, and he said that this album was 80-20. 80% what he wanted, 20% what he thought the fans wanted. This led to him creating his magnum opus, and what essentially reinserted him back into the mainstream, because after the Taylor Swift stunt and all that, just all the stuff that he was going through at that time with this album, and then after 808s and Heartbreaks was hit or miss for everyone, he needed a way to get back in, and this was the best way that you could ever do that. And my favorite part about this is when all these superstars, all these all these huge artists making millions and millions of dollars, they all were listening to Kanye West. They were following his guidelines, his rules, and everything in the place that they were at in Hawaii. And, he wouldn't let anybody come in who wasn't in a full suit, and I think that's crazy. That for his album, he was able to control just these massive, probably egotistical superstars for the better of his album and just the vibe that he was going for. He's just so articulate, and that's why the outcome of the album did so good, because he put so much into it.
Right. Yeah. I actually think that's like a really dope point that also a lot of people that just like it's dope like this one of like the main reasons I wanted to start this podcast is to also kind of put on blast those really dope hints or Easter eggs that a lot of people don't know, that are just casual rap fans. They just listen to the music but they don't know the stories behind the music, right? So when you mentioned like him controlling the environment during his dark fantasy sessions in Hawaii, one of my favorite parts about it is like known as the Kanye rules, right? Whenever they step into the actual studio and recording space, he had rules plastered up all over the walls, and like some of them were really funny and some of them were really serious. So just like some off the top, I remember there were signs that were like no tweeting, all laptops on mute, no blogging, no negative blog viewing, no hipster hats. Like some of the shit was just like funny, but some of the shit was serious. Oh, and the most important one was just shut the fuck up sometimes. Like, I really think that was like very, very important for him to just kind of put on blast and be blatant, so he didn't have to, approach someone face to face and kind of, screw up a relationship in the moment while trying to create the music. Just like put it on blast right here and now. And yeah, just I think that really added to the genius of the album. Like even the way that it was created was super unconventional. He flew out all of these people. He wasn't really accepting people, email verses in or whatever. He wanted to like them to be a part of the entire experience. It's very, very different for you to just, get emailed a beat, listen to it, write a verse, drop it, and throw it back in. Like, nah, for you to
Then
really
when
understand.
everything is created in front of you, when you
Yeah,
just you feel the frequencies of the music around you, and you're just able to dive into it rather than
exactly.
you were saying just playing it through your fucking headphones on your computer
Yep.
by yourself.
Yeah, and also like you're getting the energy from all these other artists. Like here's the thing a lot of people don't recognize. Even if they weren't on the song, 90% of the people in these sessions were still in the studio just helping contribute ideas, right? And these are all like A-list superstars that don't necessarily need, credit for every little fucking thing to nitpick, oh, well, I gave him the idea to rhyme this one word with this other word. Like they were just all in a family environment, right? These are all people that Kanye considered family. He brought in, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Rick Ross. Rick Ross actually introduced Pusha T and Kanye, so that's a whole nother story for another time. But yeah, he just brought in all these people that he considered family. RZA, Swizz Beats, like the list goes on and on and on. Chris Brown, Drake, like the list goes on forever.
It was very evident that the album was all the way about the music, and they weren't in it, and they weren't there just for the money.
Exactly.
It was music, music, music.
Yeah, I mean, because most of the people there already had, just as much money, if not more, than Kanye himself.
Yeah.
Like, it was very dope to see this transition into Watch the Throne with Jay-Z, because I feel like it's in a way it's kind of like a part two to it, and I'll explain that later. But just for them to realize like, okay, this is a higher standard of music. This is going above. This is more than just music now. When you take literally, this is like the fucking NBA All-Star game, right? You take literally every single, A-list person that you can possibly think of that is linked with this superstar that we know as Kanye West, and, have them strategically placed. What can happen, when you create music? Not to even mention the Runaway album or the Runaway movie, visual, whatever. It's like a 30-minute movie that includes most of the album from Dark Fantasy, but it's like really, really conceptual, and it's crazy. Like I said, if we wanted to we're gonna do another episode eventually for like a full length review on this album, because it's just the way that it was made and everything is just ridiculous. We could go on all day about this album, but yeah, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is an absolute 10 out of 10. You agree?
Of course. And I guess since that's coming to an end, what did you think about the cover art for Pop Smoke's album
Bro, that
by
shit was,
Virgil?
bruh, it was trash. I'm sorry. Like, I wasn't one of the
Agree.
people on Twitter that were like up in arms, like, yo, you suck as a human being. I want to murder you, this, that, and the other thing. Like, I don't. I don't even listen to Pop Smoke. I have not heard a single Pop Smoke song. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm not a person to hop on a bandwagon just because everybody's talking about him. I'm gonna go listen to him. or pretend that I know something about an artist when I don't. I have never heard a single Pop Smoke song in my entire life. I promise you. But when I saw that cover art, it looks like I could have made something better. And I'm not just saying that. Like, literally, you can see like the lines around his head were too sharp. You could tell it was like
Yeah,
photoshopped out of something.
I could literally hop on Photoshop 20 right now
Right.
and make that exact a replica of that image.
Exactly, bro. Like, bro, I don't even have to go on Photoshop. I'll hop on fucking PixArt on my phone, bro. I will hop on PixArt. Shout out to PixArt. Give us an endorsement deal. Let's go. If they give me an endorsement deal, I promise I'll create the whole cover art for this podcast thing on PixArt and I'll post it everywhere, right?
It's crazy that such a basically horrible. I mean, it is horrible
It's really bad.
when you think of just the level that he's actually on. You know,
Yeah,
like the creative director of Louis Vuitton,
exactly. Virgil
and
is amazing.
that's what he produces.
Bro, I'm sorry. Here's the thing. It reminds me so much of the Future and Drake collab on what is like What a Time to Be Alive, I think that's the name of it. That's what it reminds me of, with like all the diamonds all over the place, and you just added Pop Smoke's face. Like, here's the thing. I feel like if you remove Pop Smoke's face from it entirely and added more chains to go across it, that would be a perfect album if he was still alive. Now, obviously, you want to honor his legacy because he has passed. You want to actually have his face on it. I understand that. But it just looks extremely lazily done. Like, it's just not nice. It's really not.
No, and 50 Cent was like, "Man, who did this cover?" And then when he found out, he was like, "Okay, fuck Virgil, he's out of here."
Man, yeah, it's a bad cover, man. It is a very, very bad cover. Now speaking of which, have you seen the new Kanye cover that just got dropped like what last night? I forgot what's the name of the song. It was like
Wash
Wash
this
This in
in
the
the
Blood.
blood.
Yeah, there you go. I actually thought that cover was kind of fire, and we all know how
I like
Kanye
it.
loves his minimalist covers. He'll either go like fucking all out and hire what's the man's name? The Japanese dude that did the graduation cover. I'm gonna have to find his name in a second. But he'll either do something like that, or then he'll just make it like super basic, like Yeezus. And Yeezus cover is fire. I don't care what anybody says. Y'all better stop hating. Yeezus is ridiculous.
Hmm.
All right, I'm searching up the name of the graduation cover guy.
I've heard
Graduate.
it so many times.
Okay, yeah, Takashi Murakami. There we go. I knew I was close. I was almost positive it was Takashi, and then it started with an M. But I was like, I'm not gonna butcher this man's name because I have mad respect for him as an artist. Not even just that, but he also helped create like other stuff that Kanye has done that's been like a little bit lesser known. All right, word, and we are back. So for our last thing, people don't really know. I mean, I mentioned like a little bit about it, but we are both artists. We are both musical artists, man. So, what is your favorite part about like making music? Like, why do you want to make music? Because I feel like it kind of gives us like a badge of honor. Like we're more qualified to talk about certain topics because we make music.
My favorite part about making music is actually making the music and recording it, and then just listening to myself and finding the flaws and finding the things I need to improve on, and then actually
Right.
enjoying the things that I executed well
Exactly.
in my book, and just enjoying the music. That's what it's about. The music is not about anything else to me. It's solely about the music, and that's why I enjoy it, and that's what I enjoy.
Exactly. I agree fully. I think I think my favorite part about I mean, it's kind of like a tie between writing and recording. Here's the thing, both of them have like their pros and their cons. Both of them can be extremely stressful and irritating. I feel like recording can be more so irritating when like you already see what it can be. You have the lyrics in front of you or in your head, and
Yeah,
then you
you have the
record and
idea
then
in
it's
your
just like
head.
it's not coming out right. You're like,
You don't know
what the fuck
how
is
to
this? Exactly, like
how
what the
to
fuck
do
is wrong with
that.
me? Exactly, I'm having a midlife crisis in front of the mic, man. Like, what is going on with me? I'm gonna rip my dreads out. I'm gonna cut off all my
I've
hair, like
I've been
fucking.
there so many times.
Exactly, having a Shakira moment. But yeah, so uh, What type of music do you make, man? Like, tell the people what type of music do you make, because this is also going to be on the same channel. More than likely that your music will be on. So, yeah.
Before I answer that question, I'm gonna just say happy 54th birthday to Mike Tyson. I've always loved Mike Tyson. I've watched every fight
Oh,
video I
facts.
can find on him, and every interview. He's a huge inspiration and a motivational guy. So shout out
Exactly.
to him. But
Yeah. Yeah. Shout
I
out to
make
Mike Tyson. Killer Mike.
I'm not gonna be cliche and say I make all types of music, but I have made lyrical type songs. I've made sad type songs with female hooks. I've made screamo songs. I've made rock songs. I've made just slow R&B type songs. I really just I try to everything that I've been influenced by. I try to put out in my music because it's kind of an output for me
Right.
and my feelings and emotions. So whatever I'm feeling at that time, I'm just
Exactly.
gonna put it out, and whatever I hear, how I hear it,
Yep.
is how I want it to come out. So it doesn't have to be a certain type of beat for me. It just has to be a certain type of move for me, and then I'll go with that.
Exactly. Facts. Yeah, I think with uh with me it was always a thing of like, okay, I see certain artists and I'm like, okay, I was always captivated by like wordplay and lyricism. And I feel like lyricism is such like a fucking wide, expanse of a galaxy that
Yeah.
everybody has like a different take on what true lyricism is, who's the best lyricist, like fuck all that. So I'll speak specifically on wordplay. I've always loved and been captivated by wordplay and punchlines, and not even just punchlines, but more so like double and triple entendres. When I'm like, oh shit, he just said like fucking five different words at once, like stuff like that. I've always been captivated by that when I was like really young. So when I started, I was influenced by this platform called Team Backpack, and it had like so many dope underground spitters, and even like a lot of people that people may recognize now. They got a lot of their fan base from Team Backpack. So like people like Token, Sci-Hi the Prince, even Hobson was on Token. I mean, not Hobson was Token. Hobson was on Team Backpack when he was younger. Like, not to say that Team Backpack put them on or anything, but they did gain a lot of
It helped.
extra fans.
It put them in front of the audience they needed to be
Exactly.
with.
And especially for artists like us who create that type of music that's more so lyric based and bar based, that we don't have to put out something that ends up appealing to all different types of people. A lot of times when creating music, it's hard to find your core fan base and find people, because 99% of the time when you go up to somebody, they're not looking for what you put in front of them. Now they may end up enjoying it once they hear it, but
They
whenever
don't
you say,
care
hey, I'm a
at that point.
exactly. Yeah, they don't care until you make them care, and they hear that, oh, okay, cool, this is kind of dope or whatever. But like whenever you say, hey, I'm a rapper, right, or I make music, they're expecting to hear somebody that sounds like NBA young boy or
Little baby, the
Lil
baby,
Baby,
got
yep, all that stuff. And like I said, no disrespect to any of these artists, because everybody we just named, there I have at least one or two songs from them that I actually really enjoy. But that just happens to be the current landscape of music right now. And even when I started, I mean, a lot of these people weren't even up and coming, but at the time, people are expecting you to sound like Young Thug, Rich Homie Quan, Ray Shrimmerd, whoever the hell
YG.
else was, yeah, whoever was popping between the years of like 2014 and 2016. I started writing in somewhere between there. 2014 and 2016 was like when I started. So yeah, whoever sounded like that, back when trap was like, like trap, like I feel like that's the biggest era of it, because now trap has evolved into so much else and blended in so many different genres.
Emo trap, punk trap, just like
Exactly. But
it's
back then, when you
SoundCloud.
have, yeah, but when everything is literally just grrr, pow, pow, like everything, then yeah, that was that genre, or that was that era.
Little Wayne, basically.
Exactly. All of Lil Wayne's sons. Now, all of these people that are out now, these are
Little
Lil
Wayne clones.
Wayne's grandsons or great grandsons. But we're talking about just first generation byproducts of Lil Wayne, right? That's who was out at that time. But yeah, so just creating music is a really dope experience, especially like, all right, this will be my final point, and then we'll kind of just like kind of close out. what I always describe to people as people like, okay, what's it like to like make music? The best analogy I can give people is like it's like having superpowers. Like it's that origin story in a movie when a kid finds out that he has superpowers, right? And then he does like some shit that like surprises himself more than anybody else. And he's like, "Yo, did I actually just do that?" And then he brings over like his best friend to like sleep over the night, and then he tells him the secret like, "Yo, I have superpowers," and he shows them, and then they get excited like, "Yo, this is what I can do with this." And then as you get older, you're able to start helping other people with it more than it just being a dope little secret or a party trick, which is what people treat it like in the first place. And you're like, no, I can actually make a difference with this. That's what it feels like whenever you're able to create really dope stuff. The more you grow, you'll find out, hey, I just developed, this new flow, or, this new rhyme scheme. I'm better at writing my punchlines now, or, there's a different production style that I used to not know what the hell to do with, 6 months ago. And now give me a beat like that. And I just, I know exactly what to do now in this situation.
Yeah.
That's always what I describe it as whenever people are like, hey, what's it like to like make music? That's exactly what it's like.
Yeah. As a young kid, you're always looking and trying things to see if you're good at them.
Yo,
And then most of the time, I've always been, like just naturally somewhat good at mostly everything, or I can acquire the certain skills that I need to be, functionable at that. But with music, when I started making music, to me, I personally felt like I was way above mostly everybody else that I was around at the time.
exactly.
Just, from a mature standpoint in music, and that that really is like a superpower to a young kid, when you're able to do something so
Yeah,
well. But then there's a counterpart when you believe that you're that good at something, or that something is so special to you, and then someone tells you it's not. That kind of hurts. But then at the same time, that just it makes you strive more to be even better. And that's
exactly.
that's the that's the cycle of it. Making the music, thinking it's good, thinking it's bad, and
Yep,
then making yourself better.
exactly. And one other thing before our final closing point, I think people don't realize is every dope upcoming rapper that you meet has risen up out of a huge, and I do mean a fucking huge circle of trash ass niggas in their come up group. They were once down in the mud with all these other trash ass rappers around them, and everybody's kind of just looking at their peers, finding okay, which one out of our 7, 8 group of friends, or they don't have to be friends, because like when I came up, my come up group, included Corey right here, but there were a bunch of other artists that we knew that were trash as all hell, and a bunch of them hated me when I came into the mix. Like they were like, "Yo, he's trash, whatever, whatever." Look, 2, 3 years later, now they're still up here, posting tracks on their Facebook, tagging 89 people that they never met.
It, if if
Like,
if anything, like I can name a few names, which I'm not going to because it's irrelevant. But I can name a few names that don't do anything at this
exactly,
point, and they just gave up because their cycle that they were putting themselves to wasn't getting them anywhere. They weren't improving. They just
exactly.
kept making the same trash shit,
Yeah.
sending it to their 40 friends, thinking it's the best shit ever, and then redoing it and never
Now,
evolving and becoming anything. And it's sad.
now also another big thing is the reason why behind it, because there's a very select few of people that can say, okay, my motivation is that there are people that are trash, and I just want to say that they're trash and be good at talking trash about them. Like there are very few people that can be like asshole rappers that actually end up being good. Like, okay, I'll give you an example like Token. And not to say that Token isn't humble or anything, because he is a very extremely humble dude, but when you listen to like his early music, all he
He's an
does is
arrogant
talk.
motherfucker.
Exactly, right? And very few of us can actually do that and be good at it, or at least even have that motive. A lot of these dudes are like, "Hey, I just hate mainstream," or "I think just a bunch of rappers are
and
whack," and
have
I'm
and
just
have
gonna
no
talk
track
about it.
behind that. Like why? Why are you
Exactly,
able to hate that? You have no establishment. No one
exactly. But
like
here's the thing: you're not even good yourself, though. Here's the thing: you're not even rapping on beat. Just because your subject matter isn't this is like, all right, no, we're gonna put this as a
Money,
public
cars, and
service
bitches.
announcement. Exactly. This is a public service announcement to any other upcoming rappers that are coming up. I don't care if you have more or less followers than me. I'm gonna put this on blast right now. Just because your subject matter is not money, women, cars, and chains does not make you a good rapper. And
Or a lyricist,
it does
or
not make you a
anything.
lyrical rapper. It does not make you a conscious rapper. Just because that's not your subject matter
And
does
just
not mean
because
a
you have a
damn
soul
thing.
beat.
You are not Kendrick Lamar, bro. You are not the next Kendrick. Stop it. All right. Please stop. And also, to music fans, although I appreciate it so much and I am totally honored that you would compare me to artists like this, just because somebody's making music that does not talk about money, cars, women, or chains does not mean that they rap like Kendrick. I'm sick of it, right? So now, to the people that have called me that or said that I rap like Kendrick before, of course, I take it as a compliment. I appreciate it, but please.
And if that's your only knowledge of what
Exactly.
you
Fucking
consider
thank you.
lyrical rappers,
Like,
that's
that's always
honestly
the go-to.
ridiculous.
Exactly. You rap like Kendrick, you rap like Cole, and you rap like Eminem. Those are the three
And
people that you're
if
always
you,
going to get
I
compared
mean,
to.
honestly, if you consider Cole lyrically astound or fucking, superb, honestly ridiculous as well.
You have to just up your knowledge of rap, because that means that you're extremely service level. Now there's some people that I know that are like, they're super into like a lot of other artists and they still hold Cole at a high regard. Okay, that's fine if you have a personal, opinion of him. Like, people like Cole's laid back nature, and maybe that's why partially I consider him boring at times. But some people prefer the Cole, the laid back stuff. They don't need him to go, like DNA with Kendrick. You don't need him to like just
Yeah.
crazy spaz out lyrically, which is something that I prefer. I need my
I
adrenaline boost.
I don't mind if people like him, listen to him at all. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, how could I? But it's embarrassing when you say that he is above these other artists and you claim to, have knowledge in this
Yeah, it's pretty
category
bad.
of music. It's sad.
Right, it is. Like I said, we're not trying to knock anybody, but these are just our personal opinions. Like I said, if you disagree with us, drop a comment below, right? We want to get as much interaction with the listeners as possible. So, yeah, we're just gonna close out here. If you guys have any questions or anything, we will be doing Q&As in the future, or just answering questions in general on the next episode. Tell us what we should talk about. And just your general opinion on it. If it went too long, if it was too short, just whatever you think. We're still in the beginning stages, as you can probably tell. But we had a lot of fun making this, man. I had a lot of fun doing this. I definitely want to continue to do this, and try our best to put out at least 2 episodes a month. That is going to be our goal. I'm not sure if it's going to be met, but we're going to attempt 2 episodes a month, and kind of tweak it from there.
Yep. And this is for you guys. So just let us know, like, if there was a problem with any of the audio. Obviously, we're going to check that ourselves, but if you guys notice something that we happen to miss, just let us know. We'll try to get that fixed. And anything else you guys want us to talk about or hear us discuss, or if you guys just want to tell us how this one went, that's fine. Anything is fine. Just let us know.
Facts. Like I said, I don't think it came off very apparent, but this is not only a music broadcast. I know I started off saying it's not just a rap podcast, but it'll obviously be like mainly music focused, because that's like most of our life. But future episodes will contain other art forms, such as TVs, movies, reviews, like stuff like that. Even social issues going forward. We just didn't want to have like a big mess of an episode that wasn't focused, so we tried to focus on one main topic and kind of just branch out from there. But anyway, like I said, this is us signing out for 808s and hot takes. Again, like, comment, subscribe. I feel like an official YouTuber now. Like, comment, subscribe, and please share this with anybody that that actually listens to really dope music and cares about music opinions. I stopped saying this. I stopped saying share this to everybody, a long time ago, because people don't do that. That's a very unrealistic thing. So, I tell people, like, if people that actually listen to dope art, dope music, or even just people that you love, like people that are close to you, if you send something to them, more than likely they're going to check it out, rather than just sending it to random ass people that you've never talked to before on Facebook. That doesn't work. right? I
Trust
wouldn't
me.
have the thousands of views on my songs that I do now if I kept going with that approach. All right. So yeah, we are signing out.
All right.
Hope you guys have a great day, night, or whatever time you're watching, wherever you are. And we'll see you guys later. We will leave all links below in the description if you want to follow us on any of our social medias, on Instagram, Twitter, add us on Facebook, or whatever else. And yeah, we are Ghost.
All right. We're out.